Hello, and welcome to The Kosh. I'm your host, Timber Smith, and The Kosh is a podcast that spotlights people who have had an association with the Kosh or the surrounding Fox Cities region. Kosh listeners, how are we doing today? It is, you know what? Here's the thing. So it's super crappy outside. I'm just going to call it out for what it is. But it's a good energy day. And I am pretty excited about the day. There's some good stuff going on around town. I got a couple of field trips I want to go make. You know, even though I'm very sweet, I don't tend to melt when I get wet in the rain. I'm just saying. I'm just letting y'all know. But for the most part, it's going to be an amazing day, regardless of the fact that we're just getting like these crazy downpours that are just like, what, and why. But more importantly, and let me stress that, more importantly, we are about to have a fantastic episode of The Kosh because, once again, you already know, y'all already know what I'm about to do. So let me just go ahead and just say that I don't know how I continue to get these amazing, amazing guests. And this week is no different. So, without any further ado, this week's guest is Carrie Rule. Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Timber. How are you?
How are you doing?
Fantastic.
You weren't ready for all that, were you? No. You were just like, what is happening to me? I'm in this space. There's this person yelling at a microphone. What is going on here?
Yes. Full disclosure, this is my first podcast recording.
Hey. Bruh. You're in for it all in. I promise it is a fun trip.
And I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, thank you for making time to be here and to share with our the Kosh listeners out here. Oh, you know what? How's your morning going? Let me just ask that. How do you feel that today is going to be?
So I am right there with you. I think that today is going to be awesome. However, I did start out with a lot of water in my basement.
No.
And I'm often not in Oshkosh on weekends, and I am this weekend because of this. And so I was going to get kombucha, is that how you say that?
Oh.
From the farmer's market. And so I tried to do that beforehand, but it's very wet out there. And I think that was one of the little sections that didn't show up for so I did not get my kombucha, but that's okay.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm really into kombucha right now, right? And there's this stuff. I've been getting it from the food co-op. And, like, I really feel like it really helps my body, like, legitimately. So you're going to that little stand, and Kosh listeners, I don't know who's been to the farmer's market yet. I have not, because you know why? Because I'm recording. So I'm going to have to, Kosh listeners, you've been warned that I'm going to have to take a couple of Saturdays off just so I can make it to the farmer's market and have the farmer's market experience. But there's this one truck that just has all these flavors. Is that the one?
Yes. Yep. That's the one.
Yes. I've gone there in past years and I didn't know what it was. And they're just like, taste it, it's good for your body. And I was like, I don't know what you got going on there.
Oh, it's delicious.
It is delicious. And they got a ton of different flavors. But I really didn't understand what kombucha was.
Yeah.
So I did research later on to figure out that, Timber, you should be doing that.
Yes.
So now I do 2 ounces in the morning and I do 2 ounces before I go to bed.
Oh, very nice. So why do you break it up? Any particular reason?
Well, okay, so I have digestive complications, full disclosure. And I break it up because I think they're supposed to, from what I've read, 4 ounces a day is about appropriate, right? So I break it up because, from my understanding, your body does the most intense part of digestion in your sleep, right? So that has to do with why I take some, usually around 8 or 9 o'clock. So pre-bedtime, I take 2 ounces. And then I figure that during the day, because I'm taking it to assist in digestion, right? That's my logic in it. And so I take another 2 ounces when I get up in the morning because I'm usually always eat like a decent breakfast. And that's my first big meal. And I actually try to eat heavier in the morning because if I eat heavy at lunch, I'm going to be taking a nap by 3.
Yes.
You know about that life?
Oh, yes.
All right. So that's my logic. Instead of taking all 4 at one time, I figure maybe if I split this at these main digestive times, I'm trying to help my body do what it's supposed to do. And it seems to work for me. I'm not saying that's the way people should do it or anyone else, but it's my logic.
Well, I'll have to try that out. I don't have really any logic to mine. I usually have it at night, before, a couple hours before bed.
Okay.
Whole thing. So.
All right. And how are you drinking a certain amount, or you just pour a cup and you're rolling with it?
Yeah, just pour a large glass. So it's probably more than 4 ounces.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, you ready to jump in?
All right, let's do this.
Okay. Carrie, can you please share a little something about yourself and your connection with the Kosh?
Sure. Okay. So a little something about myself. I love people. Like, they absolutely fascinate me. I love having conversations with different people. And when I think about my past careers and positions and things like that, it's always been about meeting a million different people and business owners and things. So that makes sense. But one thing that I think people are often surprised to find out is I am a serious introvert. So I can be very extroverted, and I do, but I like my space is being an introvert, and I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of hiking. I hate small talk. I love really deep, like, meaty conversations.
That doesn't surprise me. I'm an introvert-outrovert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. No, it's because you've got to navigate both space professionally. There's too many things that call you to have to be semi-extroverted or extroverted, right?
Yes.
But who I get to be in my off time is a very different individual.
Yes, me too. Look at that. Look at what we have in common.
Facts.
Okay. Oh, and so then the other, as far as how I'm related to the Kosh, I have grown up in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. I have lived here almost my entire life. I took off for about 2.5 years after high school and moved to Madison for a while, which was awesome and loved that, but then ended up coming back to Oshkosh, and I'm still here. Honestly, I don't know that I would ever... I love Oshkosh. I mean, Oshkosh is just, it's a great town, and I can't imagine not living here.
So you tried to run.
I did.
You boomeranged right back.
And I did.
Yes. Okay. I get that.
Didn't realize all that I actually had here.
No, it's in my role, I hear it often where, the term is a boomerang, where, people leave, they've got to go see some other things, because growing up here, it's never as cool. It's when you become a full-fledged adult and you're adulting, and then you're like, oh, wow, that, like, I had a good thing going on over there in the Fox Cities, Oshkosh, and Appleton. Like, and life was affordable.
Yes. Yes.
There's this whole equation of affordability to quality of life, and the maths here.
Yes, exactly. Good schools for your kids, safe neighborhoods.
Facts. So, okay. If you weren't doing, well, you know what? Let's not ask that question. Let's go ask the question before I ask this question. So what are you currently doing? Because, I knew you from the university.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And what are we doing now?
So I am out on my own. I took the leap in January of 2024. And after 2 to 3 months of soul searching and really thinking about what I want the second half of my life to look like, I just turned 50 in May.
Hey, wait a minute now. That's no small thing. You joined this club. I'm part of that club. I just turned 50 in December. Let me do that again. All right. Sorry.
I got my first mail from AARP.
You know what? No, I'm not. I don't feel fully senior yet because I can't get them discounts. When I can start getting them discounts, because I'm ready to embrace this.
Yes. Yeah, me too. Although in my mind, 50 is the 30, right? Like, that's how I'm trying to roll.
50 feels good. I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie.
Yes, I agree completely. So after much contemplation, lots of conversations, lots of reflection, I decided that I wanted to go out on my own. And I know this sounds kind of crazy, but my ultimate goal is to somehow help bring harmony to the world. Like, so not something necessarily small, but
Bruh. Now that's serious.
yes. I, you know, I, I want, I want the rest of my life to matter and to mean something and to have some kind of impact. And this is the way that I feel that I can do it the best. And so, yeah, I started a business. The whole thing is really centered around bringing people together and helping people be more creative and innovative and helping people be able to be more open-minded and work better as teammates. And so part of that is through doing workshops and consulting and keynote speaking for businesses. And then on the more personal side, I feel very fortunate to be working with Vicki Updike and Allison Garner. And we're putting on a couple retreats for individuals that are, well, in the space that I was in not too long ago. You've worked, done great things with your career, and then you hit some point where you want fulfillment. Like you want to do something where there's purpose and passion. And that's what I'm doing. And it's amazing. Like I'm working a lot of hours right now, but I love it. And there isn't anything else I'd rather be doing. And I want that for other people. Not that they have to work all the time, but I just want
Bruh.
I want to help people find things that they're so passionate and purposeful about that they don't care, when they work or how they work or whatever. They're just really happy doing what they're doing.
What inspired you?
Well, so honestly, I was at UW Oshkosh and my department was part of the area that was cut during their restructuring. And I mean, I loved my team. I loved the university and I still do. And I'm still close with everybody. And I totally get why they did what they did. It was needed. And so there's no bad feelings that way. But it did throw me for a loop, I thought that I was probably going to finish out my career at UW Oshkosh. But I ran into Vicki Updike and she gave me the best advice ever and said, just take some time, like think about what you really want to do. And so that's what inspired me, was having people around that said, don't try to look for a job right away. Like take some time, figure out what you want to do. And I started meeting with different people just to get different ideas of what could be out there and things like that. And I had so much support. It was amazing. That whole experience makes me feel so fortunate.
Okay. Well, now this gives us full circle to, if you weren't doing what you're doing professionally right now, what would you like to be doing?
So actually, and this is part of my plan, I would like to also start some kind of foundation around helping people have more civil conversations and helping people be more open-minded and to be able to discuss hot button issues in a more civil way, I guess. I don't know how else to say that, but I want to do some work around that. And I feel like it's important that that type of service is available to everybody, no matter what the income level is.
Yes. Oh, no doubt. We got a couple of organizations that do focus on that around these parts. Around in Oshkosh, I believe there's the Civility Project.
Okay.
That's one. We got an episode on that, so you should check that one out. Alex Hummel is actually part of that episode.
Oh, nice.
And then there's an organization out of Appleton called Common Ground. And that's their whole thing is civil conversations, and they set the set of ground rules and taught, and they're most of their topics they center around are like the hard topics of today, right? It's faith based, and so that's their guiding light. And then the last group I know about that does this also is Celebrate Diversity.
Okay.
And they do a really good job also.
Okay.
So you've got some friends in the game or partners. You might want to check them out.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that because I would like to connect with all three of them.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. What has so far? How long have you officially been in the game as far as your business? Is how many months? Because it's not a full year, right?
No. So my official launch was May 15th.
Oh,
yeah. So January was when I decided I was going to do this and started, trying to get the focus in and get clarity on exactly, what I was going to be offering and how I was going to offer it, that kind of thing. So yeah, May 15th is the official launch. I'm in business development mode for getting things scheduled September and beyond.
What has given you the best pleasant surprise?
How helpful and supportive people are. That has blown my mind. It's just amazing how many people, and people that I know as well as other people that I don't even know that have heard about things, whether it's on LinkedIn or this or that. I keep meeting all these amazing people that are interested in this space and care about a lot of the same things. That's just blown my mind.
Well, I do think we have like this amazing cohort of individuals from the university. They're family. When you work at the university for a good period of time, I, like you, at one point thought, yeah, I'm going to be retiring from this place. And that's just not how it worked out. But UWO is always home, and it always feels like home. And I feel like I've got brothers and sisters and other family members there, aunts, uncles, the whole nine, right?
Yep.
Like, I love that place. I love the people that work there. And so I get where you're coming from with that. But I find like they show up and I run into them everywhere. Does that happen to you?
Oh, yes. Yes.
But I do get really good messages as we do stuff with the Kosh, really good messages from people from the UWO community, just being positive and saying things that help you keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and just one thing to point out too, what's happening or what has happened at UW Oshkosh is nothing unique. I mean, we're seeing this across the entire nation.
Facts.
No,
you are right.
Bruh.
First segment. You ready to jump in?
All right, let's do it.
Okay, first segment is called What in the World is Going On With? And that's where you start with the phrase, what in the world? And then you tell us what's on your mind. So, Carrie.
All right. What in the world is going on with society's discord and our lack of ability to have open minds and civil conversations?
Bruh.
Facts. Let's talk about it, because you know what? And it's an election year. I think this is such a good one.
Yes. So So my degree was in political science. That's what I originally went to school for and thought I was going to be like maybe a lobbyist or something like that. Obviously that did not happen, but it just blows my mind that we don't have more debates, that we don't have more discussions. And when we do have debates, it's just nonsense. It's, there isn't really any debate of real issues or anything. It just seems to be name calling, and it's just there's no cohesiveness, there's no working together, everybody is on their own side, and nobody even seems to take a moment to just listen to what the other side has to say. Like, there just aren't any legitimate conversations about what's happening. It's like it's this kindergarten class with people just kind of fighting and slinging mud, and
Facts.
That's very disheartening.
Well, I mean, to me, what I think has happened is there used to be a time, the way I see it is, there was one big team, but two different philosophies, right?
Sure.
The team was America.
Yep. Yes.
You know,
yes.
Team USA.
Yes.
And then there's this philosophy over here on what they thought was going to be good. And then there was this philosophy over there where they thought this was the best way for the country to go, right? But at the end of the day, we were still all Team USA.
Yes.
But I do not feel that way anymore. Now we have two separate teams. And that's not the same. So it's bigger than the two separate philosophies, same team. It is literally two separate teams. Sometimes it's not even the same sport.
Yes. And do you know what is even funnier about that? And I have family and friends that are on all spectrums of all sides. And really, we all kind of want the same things. And that's what's so crazy about this, is that we're actually...
We always have. No, when you really get down and talk to people, we've always wanted the same things. We've let politicians trick us into believing that we don't.
Yes. Agreed. Completely.
That's it. I mean, seriously, because if you talk to anybody, I don't care who you are, when you get down to like the bare, if you're talking about the pyramid, what is that, Maslow's pyramid of needs and all that, and the basic things that we need and we want in society, like, I don't care what side of the aisle you're sitting on or what your political views are, the basics are the same, and we all want those basics. We want, affordability for quality of life. You want to be able to good schools for your kids. You want safety. You want nice amenities as far as nature goes and parks and stuff like that. Like, those basics are the basics.
Yes. The
rest of it is not. People want a decent career that pays a livable wage. I mean, that's the basics. I'm hard pressed to find somebody to say, "No, I don't want that."
Right.
Bruh.
I'm just saying.
True.
I don't care what side of the aisle you are. I don't care what your politics are. I don't want that. Now, here's what you will find. I don't think they want that.
I would agree. Yeah.
They'll say, I don't think they want that, and therefore we can't get along.
Right. Yeah. I can't remember, because I've been listening to so many things and reading so many different books. And I think it was in a conversation. I'm part of this group called Humanistic Leadership, and it's a worldwide organization. So you get to speak about topics around leadership that are humanistic with people from different countries and things like that. And someone the other day had said that there isn't love and hate, there's love and fear. And I think we're all in this big cycle of fear. Everyone is. And I think, like you mentioned, there's certain individuals that are ramping that up for everyone.
Well, because it's how you hold power.
Yes. Yeah.
So hate or fear, both are things to build power from.
Yes. Yeah.
Love is a hard one to build power from.
Yeah. Sometimes I hope that won't be the total case, though. Not impossible, anyway.
No, it's not impossible, but
Yes, yeah, much harder.
Much harder. All right, I like that. That's a good call. Well, you got any suggestions for us?
Well, I'm working on that.
Okay,
but I really do believe I'm. Did you ever see the cartoon Pinky and the Brain?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Nice. So I am like joking, but that I am not Pinky, but the brain, that I'm going to take over the world.
Okay. Okay, I like this. If you're going to take over the world with civil conversation,
yes,
I am aboard. Put me in your evil plot.
I'm going to take over the world by building harmony and real conversations. And
Oh, I tell you. We've got a saying floating around right now, and it was created with the young ladies from Ebb and Flow, and it's that cookies and kindness are undefeated.
Nice.
Think about it.
Yes.
They are undefeated.
Yes, absolutely.
You can break a lot of things down with some cookies and some kindness.
Yes.
Hard to stay mad
Right.
with a good cookie and some kindness.
That's right.
Undefeated. So I share that with you because I'm hoping you'll incorporate that into your master plan to take over the world.
Well, thank you. Yes, I hear you.
Fair enough.
We will bring that in. We'll add that to the manifesto.
So what in the world is going on with is actually, and I just changed this in my mind because of an experience I had. So what in the world is going on with running into people and something, I don't want to say the word tragic because it's not tragic, but something medically harmful happens and then you haven't seen them in a long time and that's all they can talk about.
Okay, you have to tell me more.
Okay, and I'm all right. So, Kosh listeners, you already know because I gotta tell a story. Got to tell a story so y'all can understand where I'm coming from with that. But okay, so I'm sitting in one of my favorite churches called the Reptile, and I'm sitting in Reptile with my friend. Big shout out to my man, Mr. Faye, and we're having a libation or two on a Friday, and I see there's a cat in there. When I say cat, I mean a dude.
Okay. Say animal or person.
Wait, because it's the Reptile, so anything it's not off limits because there's dog and cats that could be in the Reptile. So I had to clarify. If there's any other church, you might not need that clarification, but here in this case, you do. So it's a gentleman. I haven't seen him probably in a decade plus. He used to be on my bowling squad and stuff like that, right? And so right away, it was so good to see him because I haven't seen him in so long. And he looked decent from like the shoulders up.
Bruh.
And so I'm like, all right, you go through the rigmarole. Hey, how's it going, man? It's good to see you, bro. How's things going? Da, 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 da. Now, while he's doing this, I'm watching his hand. Now, his hand has several bandages going on the hand, right?
Uh-oh.
But I wasn't thinking anything real deep about it because, it could have been anything. It's bandaged up, this, that, and another. But after we got through the small formalities of, bro, it's good to see you, da, 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 and you asked that question, oh, how have you been? How are things going? And he went into the full, oh, man, dude, I almost cut my whole hand off about 3 weeks ago, and he did this finger here, this finger here, this finger here. And then he's showing me the things. And now, first of all, if you know anything about me, I do not have the strongest stomach for this kind of stuff. This is why Timber is not in the medical field.
Bruh.
Because I don't do that. Now, I ain't no punk. Don't get it twisted. But I don't do that. You can't show me all the things and pull your bandage off and put it all up under my nose and show me how you almost cut your knuckle off and the things, because I'm almost ready to pass out.
Oh, my God.
And I'm trying to just hold face, right? And here's the other thing. I care about the cat. He's a good dude. He was a good friend at the time when we used to go bowling and stuff like that. So I'm not trying to pretend like I don't care, but I'm about to pass out. About to pass out because I don't do this. Other people do that. Some people are like, oh, my God, let me see that. Oh, what is that? Is that a scab? Oh, let's pull it off. I don't do none of that stuff. I back up 3 steps. I really don't even look. I'm the person, you can see it on my, and here's the worst thing. I think he was feeding off my energy because as I was getting weaker and weaker about this, he got grosser and grosser with what he was telling me because I think he knew what was happening. I'm probably turning green. And he's busy telling me how he almost cut all his digits off. Right? And I'm dying on this. Right? And here's the thing. I can't even cut him off. I shouldn't say that.
Oh, no.
That's horrible.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. I couldn't stop him from sharing more, because I'm trying to act as if, be courteous and care. Because I do actually care, but I just don't want the gory details. I just need the quick play-by-play. Oh, man, I almost cut all my fingers off. Bro, I'm super sorry to hear that, man. You good? Can I buy you a shot? That's it.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted the conversation to be like. I assure you that it did not go that smoothly.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I would have probably passed out.
I was ready to. So it took me a little while to recover. So I had to have another 2 cocktails to get over the trauma of that.
Are you having nightmares?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good about it now. But I will say that, as you can tell, that I did have a little bit of trauma about that. So now, and my thing is this. I would love to see him again and run into him in another random space, but not before he is healed.
Yes.
I want him to get fully healed and give it some time. Let the scars get away. Let him forget that he almost did what he did to his hand, and then see him again so we can talk about bowling and barbecue.
Yes.
And that is my what in the world is going on with.
Bruh.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
I did not.
That is how it went down. Okay. So, you ready for the next segment?
I sure am.
Okay, the next segment is called 21 Questions. This is where we ask you some questions, not 21 of them, but the questions are so good and so in depth that we might get 21 answers out of you, though. So,
All right.
first question. What are you grateful for?
There's a lot. One of the things I started doing back before I decided to go out on my own was I do grateful journaling every morning now when I wake up. So I have many, many things. I would say the most important thing that I'm grateful for is my husband, who's just been very supportive through all of this, and always. He just always has been. My family, my friends, and then kind of going back to a little bit what we talked about before, I've just been so fortunate to be connecting with all these wonderful, amazing people over these last, I think it's been almost 6 months since I decided to do this, but my circle has grown, and I just keep meeting more and more like-minded people that want to make a difference and want to make change. And I just feel so grateful that all these people are coming into my life.
What motivates you?
It's definitely finding my purpose and passion. I have so much more energy than I used to have. I feel in a really good mood like 90% of the time. I just really feel like I'm very tuned into what I'm supposed to be doing, and that motivates me like I've never been motivated before.
What grounds you?
So once again, my husband is very much like, because I can be all over the place. And thank God he's very steady and he's my rock. So he definitely brings, helps ground me, as well as meditating and just being out in nature are huge for me also.
What does success look like to you?
I would say a happy and healthy family and somehow making the world a better place.
What irritates you?
Complaining. Complaining.
You want to tell us more?
Nope.
Bruh.
That's it.
That's it. What scares you?
I don't know if anybody else feels like this, but I feel like starting in my later 40s and now 50, just really, I have 2 stepchildren and 2 biological children, and they're all older. They're all out of the house. They're more in their like upper 20s. And I find myself reflecting a lot on the type of parent I was as they were growing up and things like that. And just being a little sad that I wish that I knew then what I knew now. I definitely would have parented differently. And I guess one of my biggest fears is just hoping that that hasn't screwed them up too much. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that I that's probably my biggest fear. I was a good enough parent.
That's really real. I think there's a whole lot of us out here as parents who have that same thought process.
Thank you.
What recharges your soul?
Definitely hiking, art, nature. I don't technically know a lot about art. Like, I'm not somebody that can be like, oh, that's that sculptor, or that's that painter. I mean, some of them I can, obviously, but a very small amount. I really appreciate art and nature and just seeing different spaces.
How do you define love?
So I had to think quite a while about that one. So what I came up with was that my definition for love would be the ability to see and accept someone exactly as they are.
I like that. What is the most memorable life lesson you've learned from a parent, a guardian, or mentor?
That one is so hard because I feel like I have learned so much from good situations and good advice, as well as experiencing some not great things. And I guess what I've ultimately learned from a combination of both of those things is I need to be a better listener, and I need to listen to understand and to give people grace. That 99% of the time, everyone's intentions are good. Sometimes it doesn't come out that way because we're all in our own spaces and our own whatever, right? And I think because I can be self-centered, where I just think about how things affect me and not necessarily what that other person might have been going through, or, what their perception was. And so I think my greatest life lesson is to have more grace with that. And I'm really not that important. Like, people are not, everybody is doing their own thing and just trying to get along the best that they can.
Thank you. You have survived 21 questions. Okay. Next segment. The next segment is called Word Association. This is the way I'm going to say some words, and you're going to tell us what comes to your mind.
All right.
All right. And we have a tradition here on the Kosh, and we always start with the same word. And that word is the word of family, of happiness, of smiles and dances. And that word is food. I've told no lies.
Bruh.
Okay, so my word is definitely pizza. I love pizza. I could have pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so Red's Pizza and Deb and Ratch's have this sauce that's thicker, and it's got real flavor and kind of almost like a peppery bite to it that is just, whenever I order pizzas from either of those places, I ask for an extra big cup of the sauce to go with it. That's my food word.
I will say, yeah, I can't do Ratch and Deb's because it's so cheesy.
Okay.
I love them though.
Yeah.
And Dr. Benzi's.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I haven't had a Red's Pizza in a really long time.
Okay.
And but I do know that it used to have a good sauce.
Yes. Yes.
But the sauce makes the pizza.
Yes.
All right. I like this. My two joints right now, we're in this place where for a long time we swore by Pizza King. And particularly this Pizza King by the Old Family Video.
Oh, sure. Yep.
Because there was a difference.
Okay.
So that was the Pizza King we loved. And then we started messing with Eaton's. And Eaton's, they put a little more sauce on, and it's a really good sauce.
Okay.
So I'm messing with Eaton's Pizza right now. But we still go back and forth between them and Pizza King.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have to try both of those because I've had neither one of those.
No?
Nope, I have had neither one of those.
Well, don't be surprised if you change up now.
Yes.
I might have just put you on to something.
Yes.
Okay.
The sauce is the most important part.
In that case, I'm going to send you to Eaton's first, but
Okay.
don't sleep on Pizza King because Pizza King does wonderful things with the toppings.
Okay.
And it's so like when my wife calls in for the pizza and they're just like, "Oh, yep, we know what you want, and that is a wonderful pizza. That's the best one in the game every time."
Nice. Which one is it?
It is it's a pepperoni jalapeno pineapple.
Ooh, that does sound good.
Well, we like a little spice.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. I like that.
So it gets serious around here. So all right, I appreciate the pizza. All right. Cocktail or beer?
So these days, I really don't drink much anymore. However, Fifth Ward Brewery has these beers that have to be refrigerated, and they're called like Fruit Nannies or something like that. Like they have peach cobbler, and they have peanut butter and jelly, and they have blueberry lemonade and margarita.
Are we talking about a brewery or the farmers market? What are we talking about?
I know, right? And they have they have this flavor that I haven't been able to try yet because they never have it when I go there. But it's supposed to be like a key lime. So I cannot turn down a Fruit Nanny Fifth Ward beer.
No, they are fantastic. I've had some, and we got to send a big shout out to Ian. Big shout out to Ian and the Fifth Ward crew. They are fantastic. And I particularly love the mural that they had put up there.
Okay, nice. Yes.
All right. Shop local.
So I love Caramel Crisp in downtown Oshkosh. Shonda does a really nice job with all the different any kind of little gift or something that you need for somebody, they've got it there. And it's just a really nice place to have coffee with people too.
You know, Caramel Crisp comes up often. It is a fantastic space. And they kind of got a little bit of everything.
Yes.
I like the little soup and sandwich combination. They have good soup.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Concert.
So I love music. I think I listen to pretty much every kind of genre there is. However, I am not really a concert person. I don't know. It's like, I think maybe it's that introvert part of me or something. There's too many people.
I was just about to ask you, is this that introvert part coming out?
So, but yeah, so concerts, not so much for me.
No?
Nope.
Haven't been to one in a long time. Do you got one that you've gone to that was a favorite? Is there anything in?
I did go to a Grateful Dead concert a very long time ago. That was quite an experience.
Oh, say less. You know what? I don't think anyone says, "Tell me about the Grateful Dead concert." We don't expect you to tell us. We're just going to leave that there. Let it be the experience that it was.
Yes.
I feel like Grateful Dead concerts are like Vegas. You just don't talk about it. We won't talk about that.
Shoot, do we need to cut this part out of the interview?
Absolutely not. There's a bunch of people right now just shaking their head like, I understand. Trust me, they went to one too. And if they didn't, they went to a Fish concert. And then ain't no innocent people out here.
Right.
Well, let me ask you this then, because I think we're going to incorporate this question into the show at a space. If you were to have a walkout song, what would it be?
Oh my, that's really hard.
Well, let me see. Can I set the stage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Here's the stage. So, Carrie Limitless is getting ready to come out to talk to a crowd of thousands, right? You're walking down and you're coming in and you got to walk down and come in from the side. It's a big stage, right? and you got to come in from the side, and there you're going to walk up the stairs to get onto the big stage in front of the thousands of people in the big auditorium. What do they need to be rocking so people understand who they is messing with?
Okay, so I don't know the name of the song, and I don't know.
I like where this is going.
But okay, so I love the old sitcom Modern Family.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's my background show. And there is this episode where Alex Dunphy, she's the middle child of Claire and Phil. And she like plays this cello, and there's always kind of just this joke about her always having to move this huge cello around. But anyway, she ends up at some little coffee shop, and her mother and sister find out that, oh my gosh, she's like in this band, and they do this music, which they were like, we thought you only played classical music, but it's just this piece that's in this episode that is it's a 3-piece like string, and it's so positive, and it just feels like, I don't know, like you would just float off into the air or something. That song is very powerful to me for some reason.
Okay. All right, Kosh listeners, you have heard it. Somebody find the episode. Yes. We must figure out what this song is. I am highly curious now, and I love Modern Family. I know the episode you're talking about, but I didn't even pay attention to it. I feel bad.
You'll have to go back. I'll let you know which one. I'll figure out which one it is.
Okay. We will come back and share that information. Streaming.
I am a big streamer. I don't really watch any regular television anymore just because of the news and commercials. So if I'm watching TV, it's streaming. I just finished watching True Detective, the 4th season with, Jodie. I'm forgetting her last name. Anyway, it was very good.
Okay. True Detective. No, I haven't watched any of those.
Okay.
Entrepreneurship.
Purpose, passion, exciting. That's what I think of with entrepreneurship.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay. Is that because of your journey, or is that because of other people's journey?
I think that it's both, for sure. Especially working at the university, I did a lot of projects that involved entrepreneurs and that space. And I always admired entrepreneurs, people that were just brave enough to go out there and do their thing and do it because they're so excited and believe so much about something. I just always thought that was amazing and really respected and admired that in people.
Diversity.
So exciting, interesting, and the most beautiful thing in the world. And when I'm talking about diversity, I'm talking about diversity of everything, right? You know, we're talking about race and creed and age and country, and there's just, everything is so much more exciting when there's diversity involved. Like, who wants everybody to be the same? That would be really boring.
Facts. You've made it through word association.
Yay!
Next segment. Next segment is called the Kosh Hidden Gems. This is your opportunity to share a hidden gem with Kosh listeners. Now, a hidden gem can be many things. It can be something we all know, but maybe there's details about it we don't know. Or it could be something you don't think many of us know anything about. What's your hidden gem?
Okay. So when I was a teenager, I was a little strange. I was brought up Baha'i, and then in high school, I just had this fascination with different religions and what happens to us and things like that. I studied Buddhism, and I got into Native American religions and that kind of thing. And so I think that's kind of odd for a teenager. That's usually not what teenagers are doing in their spare time. But I'm glad that I did. I think, once again, I've just always been that person that's really fascinated with just different ways and different people and everything like that.
I think it's cool that you were in an environment that allowed you to do that.
Yeah.
Because everyone doesn't have that option.
Yes. Yeah, that's very true.
At this time, we're going to take a small commercial break.
Did you know there are children in the Fox Valley in need of hearing aids, but their parents struggle to provide them because of lack of insurance or high copays? I am Juliette Sturkins, audiologist and board member of Here in the Fox Cities, and proud that this small local nonprofit organization has helped fund hearing aids for some 30 kids. Your donation would help more children hear. Visit hereinthefoxcities.org to learn more and to see their smiles. Every child deserves to hear.
We are back, and it is time for my favorite part of the show. And that time is called Story Time. This is the opportunity for our guests to share a story with the Kosh listeners. So, Carrie, what's the story?
All right. So my story goes back to, I believe it was 2007. I was working at New North B2B as a sales, marketing, business development person. And I don't know if anybody remembers what was happening in politics at the time, but Barack Obama was running for president at that time. And Oshkosh was fortunate enough to have him come to UW Oshkosh.
Oh, I was there.
Oh, were you really?
You think Barack was going to come to the Kosh? And I wasn't going to be, man.
Sorry.
You wrong there, Carrie. You best believe.
Of course. I'm sorry.
I was high-fiving Secret Service. Like, hey. I was like, oh, that's just timber.
So I'm sitting in my office at New North B2B, and I get a phone call from Gordon Hintz, who was our state assemblyman at the time. And he was like, hey, who are you voting for? Like, are you voting, are you Team Hillary or Barack? And I said, well, I'm Team Barack. That's who I'm supporting, blah, blah, blah. So Barack Obama was doing this thing where he would take a member from the community to introduce him as he was going around from city to city. And so Gordon had asked me if I would want to be potentially that person. I'm like, well, yes. I'm not going to say no to that. So, but here's the thing. It was the next, so it was in the afternoon, and I'm trying to remember. I think it was the next day or the day after that. And so he is like, okay, you're in the running with one other person. Like, so we, there's some stuff that has to happen. We have to get you checked out by the Secret Service. We need you to write a speech and then, say it before you blah, 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 all these things. Not a good speaker. Definitely not a good speech writer. And then to have like 24 hours to prepare. So I wrote up the best that I could. Thank God I worked for New North B2B because my boss at the time, Sean Fitzgerald, helped edit my speech a bit. But then I had to like practice and practice and practice. And the day came, they did choose me, went there. It was amazing. Got to be in this little room with, it was the Chancellor Wells at the time at UW Oshkosh, Gordon Hintz, our governor at the time, which I don't know why I'm spacing on his name right now. I can picture him. And anyway, and then a couple other people. So Barack Obama comes off of his big bus and walks straight over to me and does that thing, that hand holding thing, where they cup your hand and look right in your eyes. And he was like, so nice to meet you, Carrie Rule. Like, come on.
Oh, wow. No, that's so, like, I literally felt that just now.
Yes. Like I know somebody was in his ear being like, okay, her name's Carrie Rule, say blah, blah, blah. It's the blonde over there. You know what I mean? Like that thing. But still, it seems so like he is just such a warm, like, but yeah, chills. So anyway, we get to all meet and talk and things like that. And so then we're behind this curtain, and then it's time for me to go up and say my thing and do the introduction. Well, this is at Culf, And it's one of those stages where you're totally surrounded by people. And there were 7,000 people there that day.
It was packed.
It was, yes. And they were all chanting and yelling, not for me, for Barack Obama. And I'm trying to do this introduction. Number one, I'm so freaking nervous. Number two, I only had like less than a day to try to like write and whatever, right? Because I'm not there with notes. I'm just supposed to like be saying this. And every time like the crowd would start to quiet down just a little bit so I could like get on with my next sentence, they'd start screaming again and I would mess up my place and get all frustrated. And finally, I just, the crowd was just too wild and I got nervous, very nervous. And I was supposed to wait for Barack to come up and join me on the stage. And I just kind of like freaked.
Did you have the full-fledged meltdown?
Yes.
Like,
and I just went back behind the curtain and Barack is like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to wait for me." And I was just like, "I'm sorry," as he's eating grapes. And then that was kind of it. So that was, yeah. So after that, I took every opportunity I could to speak so that I would never embarrass myself like that again.
oh.
That's my story.
That was really good, actually.
Thank you.
I wouldn't know what I would do in that situation. I would have cut it short and just been like, "All right, we're here for it. We all know who we're really here for." So, and I'd have hyped up the crowd like a concert.
Yes.
You say Barack, I say Obama. Barack, Obama,
yes,
Barack,
yeah.
Obama. You know?
It should have been you.
Yeah, no, because I would have done. I am horrible in front of big crowds. Like, I do not. It's not my gift. Like, I'm envious of people who are able to talk to people in front of big crowds.
Yeah.
So no, I would melt down too. And I've done that. I've done exactly what you're talking about, where I've literally like kind of just short circuited and was like, "Okay, I'm leaving now." So you have no idea how much I'm in tune with this story. Like, I'm there with you.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sweating a little bit now. Just thinking about it, I feel for you, Carrie. But it's still got to be cool. You got to meet Brock.
Oh my God. Yes. Like, talk about shining moment in my life. Yeah. Right there.
That's pretty fantastic. All right. Well, Kosh listeners, it is time. You know, when you hear that, it means it is time for the topic of the week. And the topic of the week is chosen by our guests 99.9% of the time. And this week is no different. So, Carrie, what is our topic of the week?
So, our topic of the week is, I have a theory. I think that we can solve all the world's problems if we are more intentional about infusing more creativity and developing that in everyone. I think that with the invention of AI and robotics and different things like that, we don't need people to push buttons anymore. We don't need people. I think that our true secret weapon is developing everyone's ability to innovate, be creative, and do things differently. How's that?
Oh, wait, what are you asking me for? This is your topic of the week. Let's talk about it, Carrie. I'm with you. I'm along with you. Let's talk about it. Tell us more.
I've been doing so much reading on the way that you can be more creative and be more imaginative. And when I read about people like Einstein or anybody that's done anything amazing like that, they all talk about how much their creativity played into that, like how huge that was. And how that's kind of the first step, right? Like you have to imagine first, right?
Yeah.
You could never, you'd have to, before you can put a plane in the sky, you have to imagine that you could fly or do such a thing.
Right. Oh, no
before
doubt.
So, I mean, I think that with all the different things that we have going on in the world, I think we've been refining things, and now it's time to do things like way different, to take a leap.
To start dreaming big again.
To start dreaming big again, exactly. There's a UW Oshkosh alumni, Daniel Burris. He's a futurist. And one of the things that I've heard him say, and he's had it in books, is, and he encourages everyone to do this. So think about what your life would look like, or what you would like your life to look like, or what you would like to accomplish, and like get that picture in your mind. And after you have that, then like totally throw that away and think way bigger. Like think big at first, but then think way bigger. If you think you're thinking big, you're thinking small. You're not really thinking big. And it all comes down to being more creative and imaginative. I think of our society as kind of like when we have children, they come out very authentic. They are who they are, right? Because they can be nobody else. They're little, they're tiny, and they just are their selves. And as we grow older and start school and have friends and family, there's rules we have to follow. There's things that we have to, so that we can incorporate into our society, right? And I feel like just like that tick on a roller coaster, as you're becoming an adult, as you're assimilating more, you're losing that creativity and imagination. And then you graduate from high school or college or whatever, and then there's the roller coaster, right? You know, it's finding the career and finding your partner, and if you're going to have kids or not, or blah, 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 or buy a house or travel, or what is your career going to look like? So it's, it's all this up and down and up and down. And through that process, we just keep getting more and more narrow-minded. And I'd like to figure out a way to flip that.
In my thought process, the challenge with creativity is the opportunity to be creative is really a privilege. And so a lot of people don't have privilege.
Yes.
Or don't feel like they have privilege.
I would agree.
And I think that's where a lot of hampering comes into play, of the ability to truly push the boundaries of creativity.
Completely agree.
Yeah, that's my thought process. Like I would either that, or if it's not the challenges of privilege, then the other one would be, to me, imposter syndrome, where you don't believe that you're worthy of the opportunity to be creative.
Yes. Yeah.
And that would be another one.
And it's interesting too, I mean, because there are so many studies, and you don't even have to, I mean, just ask somebody, the next person you run into, ask them, are you creative? How creative do you think you are? I guarantee you they're going to be like, well, not very, or, doesn't matter, especially, and I think the older you are too, the more chance you're going to get an answer that you're not, that someone feels that they're not. But the funny thing is there's actually quite a few ways that you can develop that with yourself that don't really cost any money at all, but it's getting that message out there, you know what I mean? It's like one of those things it's not quite as hard as you would think, but you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
So.
And what do you think the challenges are to people really being able to tap into their creative? And maybe the thing that also would be a challenge in it is like, if somebody was to be like, ask me personally, am I creative? And I'm going to probably be like, nah, not really. Because when I think of creative, I'm going to all these great minds. People that are way, the way out there, or the best, or the expert of whatever that created this or invented that. And, like a Steve Jobs or something. Like, no, I'm not Apple phone creative. No. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
And then like, or even if I'm like with an artist, and this artist is drawing this thing and it's all 3-dimensional and stuff like this. And I'm like, I can do some stick figures for you. And so, yeah, no, I would be one of those people that would say I am creatively challenged. Even though I do think in certain arenas, I do have the ability when it comes to strategy for organizations or social issues. I think I can be creative, but I think maybe it's the next question, creative in what arena?
Sure. Yep. Yeah. And, the other thing, just going off of what you said, and then with the imposter syndrome, I mean, right there it is again. I feel like as we're growing up, we're trying so hard just to fit in, right? So all those things that do make us different and all those things that we could share and tap into, we're like tamping down because we're afraid of not fitting in. And I mean, high school and middle school, or at least for me, they were terrible. I mean, awful. Never want to go back to either one of those. But, and I'm sure many other people have that experience. And then you get to be an adult and you don't want to look stupid, right? Like you're supposed to be a professional or you're supposed to be this or that. And so you can't be goofy I even have that insecurity definitely at times, but I do know that I can be goofy. And sometimes I've been in professional situations. There's one person I'm thinking of right now that I've worked with that I swear to God, this person would just cringe sometimes because they were clearly very uncomfortable with not being professional. Like they were just always very, very professional. And that's not me. And I'm a little more, but it just always made me a little sad for that person, just because I just hope that they have fun maybe when they're with friends or something like that. I think we just worry too much about what other people think.
So how do we develop it?
So there's all sorts of different ways. I mean, it is one of the big things that's really helped me is meditating. And I know that can seem intimidating for some people, but there's so many different apps and different ways to do that. And whether that's just quieting your mind for 5 or 10 minutes, it's really not. It seems like it's a long time and it seems like it's kind of a pain, but once you start doing it, it goes by pretty fast and it can feel the effects in my thinking. Just getting outside at least once a day if you can. If there's some way to get into nature or take different routes, don't always walk or bike the same route that you do. I try to find some kind of article or something on a topic that I'm not familiar with. I don't need to learn about everything, but just to try to expose myself to different things. The same thing I think I talked about earlier. I love music, like all different genres. So I try to mix it up all the time. It's just really about trying to give your mind as much variety as possible. I think about it like when people are trying to get in shape and feel better. And so they eat fruits and vegetables and things like that instead of, cake and cookies and chips. I think it's the same way with your mind. Like if you put garbage in, garbage is what's going to come out. But if you put variety and good things into your mind, then good things come out.
Is this a subject matter that Carrie Rule Limitless tackles?
Yes, it is. Okay. Thank you for asking.
Well, no, tell us more.
Yes. So I really believe that with our workforce shortages, with the most recent Gallup poll shows that almost 70% of employees are not engaged at work. So that's scary. That's not good. I mean, that's really low productivity. And that's not good for our economy. It's not good for our mental health. It's not good for many, many things. And I think that the way that we can solve that is by incorporating more creativity, imagination, and switching up the way that our teams interact and the ways that we do our work. And I think that we're still operating like we're in an industrial society, and we're not, and we haven't been for a long time. We're past that, and we need to start acting like we're in a whole new world, because we are, but we're trying to tackle it and do it the same way that we did things for the last 100 years. And I can help businesses and people start creating some of those new processes, helping them get there. so that they can have more cohesive, innovative, creative teams.
Okay. Now, I'm going to put you on the spot.
Bruh.
Oh, no.
Don't worry. What might a conversation or an exercise look like to help? Because, hey, let's say this. I've been doing the Kosh for a while, and I think it's important to, you don't want to have a medium that gets stale. You want to kind of do some different stuff to keep it fresh. How would you promote to start thinking of some different things? How do you do that? And I don't need a lot of them because I don't want you to give the secret sauce away. We can just do one of them. How would you help promote or help push me to think outside the box or to think of new things?
Yeah. So there's a couple different things. And one of them is I feel like we are oftentimes so focused on content and doing. And we don't build in time for reflection and time for things to simmer in our mind. So, for instance, if there's a project that I'm working on or there's something that I want to change and try to think about it differently, I space out and take some time for that, right? So that I can read or look at different things. I'm kind of, like I said before, putting that, not the garbage in the head, but putting the good things in the head, letting it simmer and coming back to it and reading a little bit more and working on things and then setting it aside again and coming back to it. Another technique that is really good is just moving your space too. I found this super helpful. There's probably, you have your office or there's probably a spot at home too, maybe that you work out of. And when you're in a rut, it can be very helpful to just move out of that space, to just go into a totally different room and then sit down and write. And there's something scientific about it, but it does, just by doing that, it clicks something in your brain, and it does make you more creative by taking yourself out of that normal workspace and working on something in just another room or in just a different environment.
I can say that. Like if I'm stuck, it's good for me to pick up my my tablet, my laptop, and go sit in a park, in a coffee shop, or wherever. And it does, that different aura does seem to kind of get me personally out of my stagnant place that I might be in.
Yep. Another big one is walking. For some reason, going on walks, like it does something to your brain.
Oh, absolutely.
And personally, for myself, that's a big one for me. I literally have my phone sometimes and have to, because like the ideas just start and I can't capture them all.
I love walking meetings.
Yes.
That is my big one. A good walking meeting is fantastic.
Nice. So when you do your walking meetings, is it just you're like two people? Is it a group of people, or do you do both?
No,
or?
My preferable way for me to work with people is one-on-one.
Okay.
I can do a small group well, but my preferred method is one-on-one. Let's talk about it. Let's strategize. Let's figure this out first. And then we part of that plan can be, how do we bring in others?
Sure. Yep.
And who are those people?
Yep.
But my preferred way is to start one-on-one. And that's why walking meetings, to me, like the best ideas come out in walking meetings, because I think the blood flow's going, the mind's working, there's stimulation from wherever you're walking around, outside things and things you're paying attention to. But I have found like really strong ideas have come out of walking meetings.
Yes. Oh, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. There's I have a couple girlfriends that we've gone on a couple hiking vacations, and so we walk together every once in a while to like keep up in shape for our next hiking adventure, and we discuss a lot of work issues on our walks, and they're just always very great conversations. A lot of really good stuff comes out of them, I think, because we're walking and talking.
Is there any last things that you would like to say about your topic of the week?
I would encourage everyone it doesn't have to be anything big, but just try to take 5 to 15 minutes each day to just do something different, or just step away and don't look at your phone. Don't look at that computer or whatever. Just look at some green trees or some green grass, or look at a piece of art. Just take 5 to 10 minutes to be very mindful and just sit there and feel how you feel how your body feels, feel how, if you're sitting in a chair, what does that feel like? What, just really tap into what are the smells that you smell? What are, the things that you feel? What are you hearing? Just try to incorporate little moments like that into your days. And I think I could guarantee that after a few weeks of just kind of sprinkling those things in, you'd notice a difference.
I agree. All right, Carrie, take a moment or two and tell these people how to get in contact with you for your business. You're not going to do that? Yes. I think we should do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, I would love to connect with anybody who is interested in this space or interested in learning more. My website is C as in Carrie, R as in rule, limitless.com. So my phone number and email are on that website. There's more information about the retreats and the workshops and the keynote speaking. And I'm excited about this chapter. Thank you for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it. This has been an amazing morning, really fun. And thank you for allowing me to share about myself and my business with your listeners.
Thank you for making time to hang out with me and the Kosh listeners. Okay, Kosh listeners, you know what time it is. It is time. We are going to start wrapping up this episode. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for giving us your minds and ears. Thank you for spending time with us and caring about another amazing neighbor, another person in our community doing positive things, trying to make this a better place. There's things we're working on here at the Kosh. There's going to be some changes coming along here in the future, so I'm hoping that y'all will like it. But more importantly, if we're going to become the best podcast we can become, I need your help because, we do have a goal. We want to become the #1 podcast in all of Wisconsin, and I can't do it by myself. I can't do it without you Kosh listeners out there. So first of all, if there's things you think we could do better, reach out to us. Let us know. If you'd like some different questions, reach out to us. Let us know. If you would like to be part of the show and throw in some shout outs or ask our guest a question, you can reach us at 920-385-5073. 920-385-5073. Also, if you'd like to be a guest, if you'd like to recommend a guest, reach out to us at askthekosh@gmail.com. Once again, that's askthekosh@gmail.com. Lastly, we think we have something very, very special here going on at the Kosh. Matter of fact, I know it. I run into community members all the time. I'm always surprised at who's out there listening. I can't thank you enough for just listening to these guests and these stories and how we're all connected and the talent that we have around. But I think more people would love to learn about us, so take a moment, hit your subscribe button, or leave us a review, good, bad, or indifferent. And these things increase our analytics, and the better our analytics, the more people get to know about this wonderful podcast known as The Kosh. All right? Now, on to the real business at hand. You know what time it is. That's right. It is shout out time. All right, Carrie.
Okay. So I have a few shout outs.
Well, this is good.
Okay. All right.
I was hoping you didn't come with just one. I hope you got a list.
There have been so many people that have been supportive and that I am so, so, so grateful for, especially over the last 6 months. But in particular, I would like to give a shout out to Dan Shea, the owner of Shea Electric. He has taken me under his wing and has given me just loads and loads of great advice as far as running a business and things I should be thinking about. And he never sugarcoats anything. Dan is real, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. His help has been huge. Allison Garner, someone else who has just been such a support for me and so helpful and really helping me guide these choppy waters, as well as Vicki Updike. Just really, 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 really appreciate their support. And Dean Stewart for securing me for my first facilitation and creation of workshops and leadership sessions. So he believed in me back when I was first starting, and right away said, "Yep, I'd like to work with you." So I appreciate that he took that chance right even before I had anything put together yet. And he introduced me to the humanistic leadership group of people that are worldwide. And the connections I've made there and the things I've learned are just amazing. So in particular, I wanted to give shout outs to those folks.
Okay. Love it. You came ready.
I did.
Fantastic. All right. My shout outs this week. My first shout out, and it's a huge shout out. I want to give the biggest shout out to Sunken Paddle Cider Works. If y'all don't know, Kosh listeners, I'm going to tell you right now. Now, first of all, y'all know we record on a Saturday. You know what else happens on Saturdays? Sunken Paddle opens where you can go taste their ciders, and it's free. So you need to go down there to 17th Street, go taste those ciders, go check out Doug and Spencer over there and have some of these crazy yummy ciders. I personally went in this week because we are in the creation mode of the Kosh cider. Oh yeah, this thing is gonna be fire. I can tell you right now, and I'm gonna even share a little bit, because by the time this episode is publicly produced, it will hopefully already be out, because it's getting released the week of EAA. Yay! Well, I love this because here's the thing. I had this meeting with. Actually, I did an interview. I did a podcast interview for my other podcast, Appleton Engaged, with the executive director for the Fox Cities Visitors Bureau, right? And I never thought about this, but this is so true. And she was sharing with me, when we have guests in town, because, they're bringing their dollars here and they're looking for authentic experiences, their number one thing is, like, they'll ask you, where should we go? Where should we eat? Like she said, whatever you do, don't tell them no chain. Like, they can get that, right? They want something that's authentic to the area. They want something that they can only get in that area. And I was like, oh, that is so true. So then when I was talking to my guys over there at Sunken Paddle, I was telling them these EA people are coming in. They want an experience, too, with something they can only get there. And you know what you can only get in Oshkosh? The Kosh's cider.
Brilliant.
It is brilliant. Now, you want to know about these flavors?
Yes.
Let me tell you about these flavors.
Please. These
flavors are habanero and blackberry.
Ooh.
It's habanero and blackberry. And we're not talking about that kind of thing where it tears your tongue up. We're talking about something that's it's nice. Oh. Just got this nice little peppery with a good little, I don't want to call it sweet because it's a cider, so it's not sweet, but with this blackberry flavoring running through. Oh. Yeah, it's right. It's right. So big, huge shout out to Spencer and Doug for inviting me in, and the wife, to come and taste, and we twist and twerk the recipe a little bit, and I think we done found it. And so there will be the Kosh cider released.
Nice.
Yes. So huge shout out there. Okay, I want to send a shout out to Molo Asian Barbecue if you've not been there in Appleton, or really Grand Chute, but no one knows where Grand Chute is, so we'll just say Appleton. It's in the old famous Dave's. I went to their ribbon cutting this week. I've got to go to their soft opening. Their food is amazing. It's an amazing experience. You should go check it out. It's just awesome. They got it. Actually, what's cool about it is at your table, you have both a grill where you get to grill your own stuff and a hot pot. So what I was doing was I'd grill something, and if I wasn't sure if it was done, I threw it in the hot pot and I let it sit there, and then I had really good broths. Nice. So it was just this fantastic experience where we're all sharing food across each other. They've got booths. They've got private booths. They got booths with curtains. I mean, there's all sorts of things and all sorts of ways that you can experience this experience. So go check out Molo. Big shout out to Ping and her team. All right. I want to send a shout out to WHBY. Went and did a radio interview this week. It came out fantastic. If you don't know, Appleton is about to have its first Poet Laureate program for the city of Appleton. And I am part of that. And we got to talk about this, and we are in the process. So there is an application out. It closes June 30th. And after that, the selection committee, we are in full effect picking us our first Poet Laureate. If you didn't know, the first Poet Laureate of Wisconsin actually was from Appleton. And so there's some history there, and there is a huge poet community in the Fox Cities region. If you didn't know, these poets be getting busy, and they are awesome, creative, and create great things. So, and second to last, all right, I want to give a shout out to NTD, because guess what? Timber has fiber now. Now, I know there's jokes out there because people have been making jokes at me this whole time, like I'm eating some new kind of cereal full of fiber, but no, Timber has super fast internet, and he is happy about that. And these NTD people came in here, they handled their business, and I would like to, if you have the opportunity to switch over to get fiber as your internet service, I want you to think about it. And more importantly, if you would like to, if you're in the region, in the area of the city that gets NTD, let me tell you about it. Quit thinking about it, be about it. And drop my name. Drop my name, because there is referrals. There is referral discounting that gets to happen, and we can both win on that. Facts. All right. And finally, but never last, never least, I want to shout out to the wife for allowing me to do this podcast in her house week after week. I love you, baby. That's it. All right. So, Carrie, there's only one more thing left to do. Yeah, I know. Carrie's sitting here like, no, Timber, I really thought we were done. What is this one thing that's left to do? And why is there one more thing left to do? I thought we were done, Timber. And if you could see her face right now, it is fantastic. But we do have a tradition here on Carrie, Carrie, that it is this. You get the opportunity to give the Kosh listeners some parting words of wisdom. That's option A. Option B, you can share with the Kosh listeners, what would yourself today tell your 13-year-old self? And option C, you can do both if you choose. What are we feeling?
All right. So I'm going to go for it, and I'm going to do both. So the wisdom I would like to impart would be try to be more open-minded. Try to meet more people. Try to have more conversations. Just try to be more open-minded. And then secondly, what I would tell my 13-year-old self is it gets way better. And 40s are like probably one of the best decades that things work out.
Facts. I agree with you. All right. What you think, Carrie?
Amazing. Thank you so much.
The Kosh.